So, hello, Francis. How are you? I'm Anil Kumar from Toronto, Canada, and it's a great pleasure to have a class in which you and your friends can join from Myanmar. I would like you to introduce yourself, please. Francis,
Uh,
can we begin with you?
okay. Um, oh, it's honor to meet Mr. Kumar and to learn together with Mr. Kumar. He gave us a lot of great example and contribute throughout our study. And I would like to invite and the math enthusiasts all over the globe to join to have the chance to learn with Mr. Kumar.
Thank you. Yes, Eddie, can you introduce yourself?
Uh, I am Eddie, and I would also like to thank Mr. Kumar for teaching and Francis for inviting me as well. And I, yeah, and the examples, the formula that you gave us about 2 weeks ago, it did help, and I would like to say thank you for that as well.
It's my pleasure to have students from Myanmar, and today I'll talk about some topic in coordinate geometry. We'll talk about how to find the shortest distance from a point to the line. But before that, I'll give you some concepts about how do we find a midpoint, how do we find length of a segment, and related questions. So that will kind of give you overall view of the whole unit. And I hope that will give you a good foundation for understanding this particular topic. So let me share with you the lesson which I have prepared for you today, uh, and then we'll begin. So can you see my screen, please? Yes, so you can unmute
Yes.
yourself and participate actively. Just if you don't understand anything or if you have a doubt, feel free to ask questions in between also, right? So don't hesitate in asking questions. That is a part of learning. Correct? So I'm expecting this class to be about an hour long, in which we'll consider these topics. How do we find midpoint of a segment? How do we find length of a segment? And we'll look into properties of circle and some applications. Now here I've summarized the formulas, which you already know, but it is good to have a formula list on the side whenever we work, right? It is always a good reference. So the very first formula is the midpoint. If we have 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, then the midpoint is the average of the two. X1 plus x2 divided by 2 is the x coordinate, and y1 plus y2 divided by 2 is the y coordinate. Distance between the 2 points can be found using Pythagorean theorem, basically. So we find difference of the x values, x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square gives us the difference between the y values, and then the square root of the same gives you the distance between the two coordinate points. Equation of the circle, which you know, is x squared plus y squared equals to r squared. But sometimes we can translate the circle to some other point, and then the center will not be the origin, but the center will be hk. So if the center of the circle is at hk, in that case, the equation of the circle becomes x minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square equals to r square. So here we have applied the transformation, translating x h unit along the x-axis and k units along the y-axis. So you know the concepts of translations, you can apply to the formula and get this one, correct? Equation of the line in general will take y equals to mx plus b, where the slope is m, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So to give you a review, what we are going to have is a multiple choice test paper practice. Many times these days, we get multiple choice test papers since it is very difficult to practically test all the papers. Online tests are very popular. And with this situation of COVID, everything has gone online. And therefore, many tests are there which are multiple choice. Let us also understand how do we solve these multiple choice test papers online. Now, here are four questions for you. A segment with endpoints -2, 5 and k1 has the length of 5. Find the value of k. So in this question, we need to find the value of k. We are given the length, so the length formula can help us to find this out. Four choices are given to you. You need to find what value of k could work. You can see that there are two possible values of k. Question number 2 here is the coordinates of the midpoint of a vertical line, so line is vertical, of a vertical line segment are 1, 3. Which of the following are possible pair of endpoints for the line segment, right? So we have a vertical point, midpoint is given to us. We need to find the endpoints. Question number 3 is find the slope of median from vertex A, which is 4, 3, if the coordinates of the other 2 points of the triangle are B, 1, 7, and C, -1, -1. Four options are given to you. Question number 4 is a circle is represented by x squared plus y squared equals to 25. How many of the following points lie on it? So basically, you should be substituting these points and see which one lies and which one does not lie on it, correct? Here are the next 5 questions. So we'll have 9 questions all in today's discussion. Question number 5 is the midpoint of the segment with the endpoints A -1, 4 and B, AB is C, 3, 9. Find the coordinates of the point B. So here we are given the midpoint, right? We need to find the endpoint. Question number 6. Find the center of the circle that passes through the points A, B, and C. Write equation of the circle. Now this circle which we have taken is going through 3 points. You should remember that you can uniquely define a circle with 3 points, right? Now the concept here is that you can join 2 points, get the chords, and then perpendicular bisectors of the chords will intersect at the center of the circle. So that is what we are going to use it. Question number 7 is find the equation of right bisector of the segment joining the points -3, -7, and 5, -3. Question number 8. Find the shortest distance of the point 0, 0 to the segment joining the point A, which is 1, 4, and B, 4, -5. And the last question here is the segment AB with endpoints A, 3, -8, and B, P4, has a length of 13. Find the value of P. This is similar to a question which we did earlier, right? Now let's look into the solutions of these questions one by one. Now, here is the very first question which says, segment with the endpoints -2, 5 and K1 has the length of 5. Find the value of K. Now, can you tell me how will you approach and solve this question? Yes, Francis. We are given the endpoints, right? And we are also given the length. Length is 5 units. We need to find one of the coordinate points. We know one point is -2, 5, and the other point is K1. So we are given the length. So how will you find the value of K? Can you tell me what is going to be your approach?
So basically, we can see that the total length is 5. So we can use the, which means the 5 is the total length, which also the distance between 2 endpoints. So we can use distance formula to
Perfect.
this.
Perfect. That's what we did. So we know the distance formula is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Substituting the given values, 5 for the length, and k is the only unknown which we need to figure out, x2, and all other values are known to us. So once you solve this equation, it can be solved as shown here. Square both sides, and we get x plus 2, k plus 2 whole square. Now, interesting part is here. So what I did here is, we had k plus 2 whole square equals to 25 minus 9. We did not really expand k plus 2 whole square. Do you see that part? So this is critical. We maintained k plus 2 whole square as such to solve the equation. Brought all of the times. And then we have to do square root. So after this, we can do square root. And whenever you do square root, you should always take plus and minus, both the values. Got the idea? This point could be on the other side also. You get the idea, right? This point could be on this side also. So we do this plus and minus, and therefore we get two possible values of k. They may match with the option D, so that becomes our choice. So I hope this is absolutely clear. Correct, Eddie? Good. Now, let's look at
Yes. Yeah.
good. So here is the second question. Eddie, can you please read question number 2?
Wait, it
Loudly.
hasn't appeared on my screen yet.
You're on mute.
Um, the coordinates of the midpoint of a vertical line segments are 1, 3. Which of the following are possible pairs of endpoints for the line segment?
Perfect. So what are we given here? We are given midpoint of a vertical line, and we need to figure out which of these could be the possible solutions. Well, vertical line means what? The x value will remain same, right? So if we have 1, this point is 1, 3, then definitely one of the values, which is the x value, has to be 1, right? That is absolutely clear. So when you look into the multiple choice questions, you see that there are, so this is not the option at all. Now, one of the point, both should have 1. So we could have one of these as our possible answer. Since we know that 3 is the y coordinate, the center value, we have to just add these two and check which one gives us the right answer. So as we can see, B seems to be correct because minus 1 plus 7 is 6 and half of 6 is 3. So we get our center point. Correct? So that is how we are going to answer this particular question. Now, here is question number 3, which says, find the slope of median from the vertex A, which is 4, 3, if the coordinates of the 2 points of the triangle are B and C are given to you, right? So basically, do you understand what is the median?
Yes, medians is
Yeah, connecting to the middle point, right? So we are saying A, B, and C are the 3 vertices. Median connects the vertex with the opposite side center point, right? That is what the median is. What the question is, find the slope of the median. We are given the point A, which is 4, 3, right? So we are given this point 4, 3. What we need to do, we are also given B and C. We just need to find the midpoint. So let the midpoint be D. So to find the midpoint, we find the average of the two. So we apply the midpoint formula, add the x coordinate values, which in this case are 1 and minus 1 divided by 2, the y coordinate values, which are 7 and minus 1 divided by 2. We get the median, which is, we get the center point of line segment BC, which is 0, 3. Now we need to find the slope of AD using the formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, right? So we have these 2 points A and D. Substituting them, we get the slope. Since the y coordinates are same, 3 and 3, the slope is 0. And that is how we get the solution of this question. Is that clear to you? Okay,
Yes.
great. Question number 4. A circle is represented by x square plus y square equals to 25. Now, whenever we write equation of circle like this, it means the radius is how much? 5.
radius was 5.
5. Square root of 25, and the center is at origin. Now it says how many of the following points lie on it. So the best way is keep on substituting the points and see which ones give you 25. When you substitute 0 and 0, it is not equal to 25. But for the other coordinate points, you get this as 25. And therefore, 3 of these answers are correct, and option C is absolutely correct. Straightforward. Correct? Here is question number 5, which says the midpoint of the segment with the endpoints. So the endpoint B is not known to us, right? But we are given the midpoint. Find the coordinates of B. Very tricky question, since normally you are only finding the midpoint. Now the idea is, how do we find the endpoint? So let's look into this solution and understand the strategy. You know the midpoint formula for here should be x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Now, in this particular case, x1 and x2 values are not known. So we'll write as given to us a and b, right? So we get the midpoint c as minus 1 plus a divided by 2 and 4 plus b divided by 2. But we are given what c is, the coordinates are 3 and 9. So you can now equate minus 1 plus a divided by 2 to 3 and 4 plus b divided by 2 to 9. So writing this, we get minus 1 plus a divided by 2 as equal to 3. We can now rearrange, cross multiply, you get 6, take 1 to the other side, so the value of a comes to 7, which is 6 plus 1. Similarly, find the value of b, the y coordinate of the center point. 4 plus b over 2 is 9. That is the 9 given to us. Cross multiply as we did earlier. Bring 4 to the other side and we get our coordinate point, which is 7, 14. Clear? Here is question number 6, which is slightly longer. It says, find the center of the circle that passes through 3 given points, right? Now we'll understand a lot of strategies when we solve this particular question. We are given a circle with 3 different points. Now it is important to note this portion, which is right bisectors of the chord AB and BC will intersect at the center of the circle. This is key, which you should know. So that is what we are trying to, we'll find the right bisectors and the point of their intersection. Let P and Q be the midpoints of A, B, and BC, and O be the center of the circle. So, and then we'll actually begin with our solution, correct? So the idea here is, first, find the midpoint of AB and BC so that you can get the equation of the right bisector. So to find the right bisector of any segment, what do you need to do? You need to find its slope or gradient, the midpoint. Now the bisector will be perpendicular, therefore negative reciprocal will be the slope of the right bisector, which will go through the midpoint. So here the midpoint for P is the average value of A and B, midpoint formula, which comes to minus 2 and 5. Now the slope of AB is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. We get a slope of 1 over 3. The point AB is this one, which we have taken, correct? Now, slope of the perpendicular is negative reciprocal. Therefore, negative reciprocal of 1 over 3 will be minus 3. So we get the slope. Now, with that slope and the line passing through the midpoint 2 and 5, we'll find the equation of the right bisector. So we'll write the equation as y equals to minus 3x plus p. Substituting the midpoint, which is minus 2 and 5, we can find the value of b, which comes out to be minus 1, and therefore the equation of the right bisector of this chord is minus 3x minus 1 is equal to y. Perfect. We are going to follow the same procedure to find the right bisector of the other chord BC, finding the center point Q first, the slope BC, negative reciprocal of the slope, writing the equation y equals to minus half x plus b, and to find b, we'll substitute the midpoint Q, which is minus 4, 6. And then we can find b as equal to 4. That gives you the equation of the line y equals to minus half x plus 4. Perfect? Once you have both these lines, we have to find the point of intersection. A very important question from test point of view. So you substitute the value of y, and once you do that, you have minus 3x minus 1 equals to minus half x plus 4. So we basically equated both these equations, and then we solve for x. Get rid of fraction, that is another strategy, correct? So what we did here is, since 2 is in the denominator, we multiplied every term by 2. So this is a very good strategy. So you get a linear equation without any fraction. And now you can just solve the equation getting the value of x. Once you get the value of x, you can substitute in any one of these equations and find the value of y, giving you the center of the circle itself. So we get the center, and now to find the equation, we need to find the radius of the circle. So radius is from center to any one of those 3 points given to us. We chose A as the other point. The center is minus 2, 5 as we calculated. radius will be using the distance formula. Square root of x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square gives us the radius as square root of 10. Once we know that, we apply the equation of the circle where the center is h and k, right? In this case, it is minus 2 and 5. Substituting the value, we get the equation of the circle as x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 5 whole square equals to 10. Now, is this process clear to you?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No doubt, right?
No.
Okay, so Francis, I'd like you to explain this process once to me. I went very fast. I know you can always watch this video later. Perfect. Now, Francis, will you like to summarize how did we find the equation of the circle for our example number 6?
So like for to approach this type of problem, first we can say that uh like the right bisector of like AB and BC were like they were intersect at the center, right through the center of the cycle, and
Right.
right the center it is, let's say we choose like let's like P, or I mean
Yeah, yeah.
here you say P and Q will be the intersection, like it will be a midpoint of
Yeah,
AB and BC,
correct.
and at the O, at the center O, and
Right.
now we need to find the midpoint. We can use the midpoint to find the volume of P, which
Correct.
is negative 2 and 5, negative 2 5, and we can find the slope of AB, which is 1/3, and the perpendicular equation will be the reciprocal, which will be -3, and we can apply the same process to the right bisector for BC, and we got perpendicular bisector of slope of -1/2, and we can equate these two. We can equate these two equations
Correct.
to find the center of the point of intersection, which is also the center, and later we can find the distance of the radius, and we got the
Correct.
equation of the cycle, which is 10.
And we found the radius OA, correct? Perfect. And that is how we find the equation. This is a very important question. I made a rough diagram here just to illustrate that this is the chord AB. And on the particular chord AB, we selected the center point for P, and then the equation of the right bisector. Similarly, the other right bisector intersecting at O, and then we calculate the radius R, applied all these known things into the formula. X minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square equals to r square. So well done. So that is how we are going to do it. Here is example 7. Now in example 7, the question is find the equation of right bisector of a segment joining the 2 points. Now you know exactly what is the process. So we'll summarize the process. First step is to find the midpoint, correct? Using the formula. In this case, the midpoint is average of these two values, gives us x coordinate, average of the other two values gives us the y coordinates. So we got the midpoint as 1 minus 5. And now we'll find the slope of the 2 points given to us. Slope y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 is half. Equation of perpendicular will have a negative reciprocal slope whose slope should now be minus 2. Substituting y equals to minus 2x plus b, and then the midpoint into this formula gives us the equation. So in short, that is how we found the midpoint in the previous example. Perfect. Now, most important question here is how do we find the shortest distance from a point to the line, right? So let's go through these steps of finding the shortest distance. The question here is find the shortest distance of the origin from the line joining the 2 points. So I've not really given you the equation of the line, I've given you 2 points. So this also involves an additional step of finding the equation first, just to give you more practice, correct? So the slope using these 2 points will be minus 3, and you can write y equals to minus 3x plus b as your line. Now, to find the value of b, you can substitute any one of these points. I prefer to substitute a, which was 1 and 4, and we got the value of b, which was 7. So we have this equation, which is y equals to minus 3x plus 7. Now, this is the line whose distance we want to find from the center of the circle. How do we find it? Well, clearly, the line should be perpendicular to this line, and on that perpendicular, we should have the origin. So, slope of the perpendicular will be 1 over 3. Any line with the slope of 1 over 3 through the origin will have a very simple equation, y equals to 1 over 3x. Now, this particular line is going to intersect at a point on the given line. We have to find this point of intersection. To find the point of intersection, I'm substituting in the equation of the line 1 over 3x. And from here, we can calculate the value of 6, uh, calculate the value of x. And we get the value of x as 21 over 10. So now we have the x value. It is important to find the y coordinate. Y coordinate is 1/3 of this. So y coordinate is 7 over 10, 1/3 of that. So we know the point of intersection of a perpendicular line to the given line A and B passing through the origin. Now the distance formula, a square plus b square square root, gives you the distance between the two. So that is how we can actually find the distance of any line from the origin. Is that clear to you? Correct. So that is a very good way of doing it. Here we also have a shortcut method of finding the distance. We did get the equation as y equals to minus 3x plus 7, right? Normally, we prefer to write the equation in standard form. So I could write this equation as 3x plus y minus 7 equals to 0, correct? Equals to 0. Now this line 3y, you could see that this line basically is something like this. Negative slope, y-intercept of 4. So let's say the line for us is something like this, correct? And what we are looking into is the shortest distance. So shortest distance is this, which we are trying to figure out, right? The orange line is the shortest distance. We did find that the point of intersection was found, and we did all this, correct? Now, if you are given a standard line like this, then from the origin, the distance is 7, this constant c, over a square plus b square square over 3 square plus 1 square square. So that gives you the shortest distance directly. That's the formula. So which is 7 over 9 plus 1, which is square root of 10. Now we need to rationalize whenever you have denominator as square root, we need to rationalize. And therefore, this is written as 7 square root 10 over 10. Do you see this particular formula? So if you have an equation which is ax plus by plus c equals to 0, and shortest distance from the origin will be what? Will be the value of c over square root of a square plus b square. That is the shortest distance. And always, it is an absolute value. Distance is always positive. So always take a positive value of c. I understand, as you can see in this equation, it was minus 7. However, distance is always positive. And therefore, we have to take absolute value, and I wrote absolute value as 7. Do you get the idea? Distance has to be positive, right? Not negative. And that is what is very important. So do you see, you also understand a very shortcut method of finding the shortest distance. It could be used to verify your result, correct? Now here is the last example of the day, which is very simple. And now with all the learnings, I'd like you to, Francis, can you read this question and then also answer?
Sure. Like the segment AB with the endpoint vertex A with 3 comma negative 8 and vertex B P comma 4 has total length of 13. Find the volume of P.
Yeah.
The there are two the segment AB have the two should I explain?
Yeah, explain also, yes.
Oh, okay, the segment AB have the total length of 13,
Yeah.
and the two endpoint are A, which is 3, comma negative 8, and B, P, comma 4. To find the distance, we can use distance formula to find the distance between these 2 points. So we substitute 13 for our d, and we substitute h1 for negative. We substitute h1 as 3 and h2 as p and h1 as negative 3 and y2 as 4 and y1 as 8, and later we get the volume of we get the volume p of 3 3 at or minus square root of 25.
Correct. So the important thing here is you have this thing p minus 3 whole square, do not expand it. But at this stage, simplify the other side and you do the square root. Whenever you do square root, you have to use both plus and minus values, correct? So it will have two values. And then take 3 to the other side and you get your answer that p could be 8 or minus 2. Perfect. And that is how we get our solution. So that is how we'll be doing all such questions. So I hope you learned today's lesson on coordinate geometry. So Francis, will you like to summarize what did you learn today?
Sure. Like today we learned everything related about the midpoint of a segment, length of segment, and property of circle and some application. Like the best uh, uh my favorite problem I would say is question six,
Mhm.
which is also like there are lots of process to approach and find, and it is really fun to do such type of problem. And these are the things we learned today, and we also learned there are two ways to approach the shorter distance between a point and a line segments. We can use the formula ax plus b1 plus c is equal to 0, or we can use the approach in longer way, or I would say like the clear way by finding the slope and its perpendicular formula.
Correct. Correct. Eddie, can you summarize what did you learn and how was the lesson today?
We learn about like how basically the different things about a circle, like finding points on the circle, finding the equation, and finding the midpoint in a circle, and how to find a how to find if you're given like 2 points. So
Mhm.
if you're given a point and a midpoint, then how to find the
Endpoint.
other endpoint, the
Correct.
endpoint as well.
Correct. Great. So to summarize, as you've done rightly, so normally we are finding the midpoint of a segment. Here we also learned how do we find the endpoint when the midpoint is given to us. We also saw how do we find the equation of a circle when we are given 3 points. That actually summarized all the learnings because in that case, we were considering two chords, right bisectors of those two chords. So we found how to find the equation of the right bisector. Now, these right bisectors intersect at the center of the circle. So we got the center point. Now, you need to find the radius. So that means you also find the distance between the point and the center, radius square. We also learned that the equation of the circle, which is normally x square plus y square equals to r square, since we take the center at the origin, but it could be anywhere. So in this particular case, since it was translated x and y distance away, we use the translated formula of the circle with a different with the origin, which was not at the which with this circle whose center was not at the origin but some other point. So those were a few learning points and some shortcut method, as you say. How do we find distance of a line from the origin? Well, you can explore more in one of my videos. I'm talking about how do we find distance of a line from any point, right? And how do we find distance between two parallel lines using a similar formula which I discussed? I will actually share with you that particular video. Go through it, and that is probably you might be doing next in coordinate geometry. I hope that really helps. It is good to have you, and you are enthusiastic learners of mathematics, and I wish you all the best in life. Feel free to share your questions with me. Okay? All the
Uh,
best.
Mr. Kumar, like,
Yes.
can you share me the link for your like your uh, your contents for your textbook. I want to look through this.
I will
So
share.
one, okay.
Sure, sure.
So I can share it to my friends, everyone.
Sure. That'll be great. Thank you. Thanks a lot and all the best. See you next Sunday
Okay,
if possible, if you get time. Okay? Bye.
sure. Bye bye. See
I
you later.
see you.